Let's open up and build the LEGO Star Wars 2023 Advent Calendar. Villa Varykino. If it's Star Wars, we collect it. Hello there, thanks for visiting Villa Varykino. Now I know we're still in October, we're not into the full December Christmas season yet, but for us here in New Zealand, our stores have their full ranges already on the store shelves, including Advent calendars. So as you can see, this is actually last year's LEGO Star Wars Advent Calendar from 2023. So why am I opening up this one? I do have this year's 2024 LEGO Star Wars Advent Calendar that I really want to open, but I have to admit, I've never actually opened up a LEGO Advent Calendar before, so I don't really know how the system works with all the doors and all of the bags and all of that sort of stuff. So I kind of want to do a bit of a test run and open up the one from 2023. I've had this one for a while. I was kind of holding on to it until I was a little bit closer to Christmas, but I can't wait any longer. I really want to open this one up. There are some really cool figures and little vehicles in here, so it's going to be a lot of fun, kind of kicking off the Christmas fun a little bit early. And generally speaking, you should buy Advent calendars just before December 1st, so you're all set up to follow along the 24 gifts leading up to Christmas. So let's get stuck in. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Coming up really soon, we'll open up all the doors and we'll check out and build all of the included LEGO Star Wars sets and figures. But first, let's take a quick look at the packaging. I really like the front image here for the LEGO Star Wars Advent Calendar that was released in 2023. This is set number 75366. You can see it is intended for ages 6 and up. We've got a printed golden bow here on the top right and a little bit of a gift tag printed on it that is in the shape of the second Death Star in red, and it says there are 24 gifts inside. I really like the imaginary indoor scene here where we've got a lot of snow, very good for a North Hemisphere Christmas season. We've got an indoor bunker decorated with Christmas lights. We've got a tree with lights, and we've even got a little bit of a wreath arch going on here in the background. We can see a fun preview of some of the items inside. We've got some that are just iconic Star Wars elements like an AT-ST, but then also some fun Christmas elements like Emperor Palpatine wearing an ugly Christmas sweater. I think that that's really fun. On the top edge here, we can even see a one-to-one image preview of that minifigure where we can see that red Christmas sweater featuring the Death Star. That's really fun. We can see that it notes that there are 24 gifts inside, noted there in a few different languages. This side is a little bit plain. We just have the LEGO Star Wars logo there, and the back again has a really fun preview. We've kind of got a second picture here of the box itself with the flap open where we can see the 24 doors where we can open them up like an advent calendar to reveal the items inside. So the assortment pictured here is a little bit different. We see some that are also pictured on the front and a few that aren't, but again, just giving us a little bit of a tease of some of the items, not the full 24. There's some really cool figures in here. We can see some of them pictured here around a campfire. Looks really fun. Again, we have indoor pictured here with some Christmas trees and Christmas lights. It looks really fun. Now the other side, we can see it just says LEGO Star Wars Advent Calendar in a few different languages. I think it's interesting to note that it doesn't actually say the year on the front. For the 2024 Advent Calendar, it clearly says 2024 Advent Calendar on the front, but for the 2023 one, it doesn't say the year. We just have the set number to help us figure that out. The underside, we just have the sort of warning, barcode, all of that kind of stuff. I have to say the boxes for these ones do feel very different to a standard LEGO Star Wars box because there is an internal structure to build out those 24 doors, and the cardboard itself feels quite thin compared to modern LEGO cardboard boxes. You can sort of see the different panels that we're going to open up to get into those panels. So I'm really excited. This is my first experience opening up a LEGO Advent Calendar, so let's get stuck in. So step one, let's open the flap as we can see depicted here on the image on the back of the box. So we can see the side panel. We can see that is the panel that we can see on the side here. So it's the back of the box that's going to open down and reveal all of those doors. So there are two pieces of tape, one here on the top edge and one here on the side left edge. I don't see any tape down the right edge here. So just those two pieces of tape. So I've got my scissors on hand. Let's get stuck in. I'm going to do this very carefully. I know that opening up all of the doors, I'm probably not going to have a mint box at the end of this, but I do like to keep my LEGO packaging in its good condition as I can. So I'm going to try and do this really carefully. Okay, it's snipping through the tape. There we go. Okay, let's open it up. Cool. Okay, so the bottom is mostly just sort of snow with some greenery, sort of a top-down view of some Christmas trees there. And we can see we've got the 24 doors. Now, like modern advent calendars, they all kind of assorted. We can see we start at 10, 4, 18, so on. So you've got to hunt for the door for that specific day there. So I accidentally sort of punched in number 23 just a little bit there. So let's get stuck in and open this one up. I really like the scene here. We've got some really interesting imagery here of indoor. We've got trees that look suspiciously like Christmas trees. This one here in the front has some lights, and we can also see the lights there. And we've got this cozy campfire scene here with Emperor Palpatine. We've got an Ewok, Princess Leia, and Omega from the Bad Batch. And we can see some of the other little tiny fighters and other structures. Just a little bit of a preview there about some of the items inside. So let's get stuck in. I'm going to keep my scissors on hand in case there's any bags, because I don't really know what to expect. So I'm going to open up door number 1 down here. Just going to carefully pull out that door because I don't really know. Okay, so we've got a little instruction here on the inside of the flap. I was wondering how they were going to help explain how to build some of those structures and vehicles. And here we have a small clear bag. So pull that out. We can see we've got the pieces for Omega and a little sled, I think it is, that she's going to be able to ride. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is open up each of the doors, and then I might change angles to build everything. I really like the way that the instructions are there. I wasn't sure if there's going to be a standard Lego booklet or perhaps a little piece of paper with instructions. That's really helpful. Okay, door number 2. Going here. And we have, that looks like Cad Bane's ship there. The Justifier. We've got a little, tiny little Star Wars ship there. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to remember which bag is which, to be honest. Might have to sort of put them in order down here. Okay, number 3 up the top. We have, that's the Mandalorian's N1 Starfighter. That looks really cute. Okay, we can see all the pieces that we've got there. That's looking fun and cute. I like the variety that we've got here. Number 4 up the top. Okay. Oh, it looks like a cute little Christmassy pit droid. What is that? We've got like a little, is that a bag? A little, sort of little brown bag. Okay, he's got a little sack. So he's always dressed up like Santa. Okay, I get it. That's cute. A Santa pit droid. Okay, so that was number 4. Let's go on to number 5. Where is 5 missing? It's kind of fun. Your eyes get a little bit tricked. Oh, 5's over here. 5 is, this looks like a clone turbo tank. Okay, we can see we've got all the little wheels there. That's fun. Okay, 5. Moving on to 6. 6 is down here. I like that these doors are easy to open. I was worried that I might be, ripping this a lot. We've got a minifigure of a clone trooper here. Very cool. Oh, and he actually even has a face underneath. I wasn't sure if he was what his face would look like. That's kind of cool. Okay, nice and easy. Don't really need too many instructions. We just have a picture there of the minifigure holding a long blaster rifle there. Okay, 6. Moving on to 7. Down here in the bottom corner, we have, not actually sure what that is. I'm going to have to build that to kind of get a sense of what that one is. That's a bit interesting. We've got some red pieces in here. Not sure what that is, actually. I don't remember seeing that one on the outside. That's going to be the fun part, isn't it? Finding what's actually in the doors that isn't pictured on the outside of the box. Yeah, I'm a little bit confused as to what number 7 is. That's going to be fun to build and figure that one out. Okay, 8. Okay, we've got a battle droid. I love these. Not too many pieces to build, but a fun little army builder figure there. 8, 9 down here at the bottom. Okay. Looks like a turret of some sort. On green. Got some really interesting pieces in that bag. 9, okay, 10. Where's 10? 10 up in the top. Oh, we've got a Hailfire droid. Look, you got the wheels. That's cool. We could see that one pictured on the front of the box. I was expecting that one. Okay, now down to 11. And we have a sort of a blue Clone Wars era AAT. I love that vehicle. Looking forward to having a tiny version of it. That's really fun. Okay, that was 11. 12 over here. This is exciting. Of course, generally advent calendars you're supposed to open up on each day of December, but I'm just getting stuck in and having fun. So the picture on the front of the box of this one looks like a brown gonk droid dressed up like a reindeer. I think that's really cute. I like that we've got a gonk droid with Omega because of course there is Gonky the gonk droid in the Bad Patch. I think this is quite cute. I want to put this one next to Omega when it's built. Okay, so that was 12. 13 up the top. We have that looks like an Imperial shuttle in that sort of tiny scale. There we go with the white pieces there. The bags on some of these feel thicker than some of the others that feel like thinner bags. Okay, 13, we're making our way through the doors. Up to 14, we have Princess Leia here as a minifigure in her sort of indoor outfit. Okay, just got to pull this one out. It's a little bit caught in there. It looks like she's holding a pie or a cookie of some sort. There is a tiny little food item in there. I think that's kind of fun, like a Christmas cookie. Oh, she's got 2 of them too. That's kind of fun. Cool. So the minifigure itself doesn't look Christmassy, but she comes with an accessory. That's really fun. 14, 15 over here. Okay, this one looks like the tiny Ewok village. We've got a lot of brown and green. We're going to build a tiny little sort of version of the Ewok village. I think that that's kind of fun. We're used to the tiny little Star Wars ships. I think it's fun to have some tiny Star Wars terrain as well for some like fun little set building. 16 down the bottom in the campfire on the picture. And we have a tiny indoor bunker. That's really cute. Just a few pieces for that one, but I like the indoor theme we've got pictured there on the box. So we've got those pieces there. That was 16. We're on to 17. And the final stretch now, counting down to Christmas. 17. We've got, kind of looks like a little bit of a turrets display. It's got some turrets. All grey. I think that one's going to make a bit more sense once it's all fully built. 17, 18 up the top. Get that one open. Not sure what that one is actually. I'm getting a few confusing ones here. Kind of, yeah. Gonna have to look that one up, I think. It kind of looks, especially when some vehicles, when you shrink them down to sort of this tiny scale, it's a little bit harder to immediately recognize their shapes. I'm gonna have to look that one up, I think. Maybe when it's built, I'll figure that one out a little bit better. Okay, 19 over here. And we have sort of like a little, another little sort of weapon array. Like the, you can see the sort of dish there. And we've got some green pieces to go around that one. A bit more scene building with the scenery on that one. Number 20 down here. And we have Palpatine. That's fun. Okay, we'll get his bag out. He comes with some lightning and he comes with a red sort of mug there as well. So we can just make out his Christmas sweater there. A unique piece that you're only going to find in these Christmas sets, and we can see his face there. That's really fun. I like the unique minifigures in these sets. 2021, only a few to go. Okay, all we have his throne. That's fun. Okay, so now we have the pieces to build Palpatine's iconic throne from the second Death Star. That's going to be fun, of course, tying into Endor a little bit. Okay, 22 here in the center. I think this one is the little tiny Star Destroyer as well, based on the picture for the instructions. It kind of looks like the one that we've got pictured up here. That's really cute. Again, it's sort of tying into the Return of the Jedi indoor theming here. Okay, so that was 22. 23, which I accidentally kind of pushed through. Again, a little bit of sort of like a something I'm not really sure. Gonna have to look at that one. It's got two little bits and it's brown. I'm not sure what that one is. Okay, 23, 24. Oh, it's 24, our last one. Okay, so we have our Ewok here, which we can see the pieces there. Cute. I like his green hood with a Christmas tree on it. Okay, so I thought that I would have an Omega figure. Did I miss one? Omega is on the box. I thought she was in one of these, but she's not actually pictured behind any of the doors. That's kind of interesting. I thought because she was pictured on the box. Oh, she's in the, oh, of course, she was right at the start. I've forgotten. I was expecting, because most of the minifigures were down the bottom. Where was she? I wanted to just quickly look at her shirt. Is she? All the way. Number 1, of course. I wanted to have a look at her shirt, because, of course, she's like Leia. Her actual minifigure there isn't actually Christmassy, but she comes with a sled. That's fun. Okay, we had a little bit of a start there because most of the minifigures were right at the end. I'd forgotten that she was lucky number 1 there. Okay, got myself a little bit muddled there. Okay, so that was a lot of fun. There's a few that I'm not really sure what they are. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of building and just sort of see if it comes to me a little bit better, because these instructions, you can see they're not fully built. They're kind of trying to show you how the pieces go together. So we can see most of it sort of half built, but some of them are just a little bit cryptic. I was kind of hoping it would be really obvious, because of course the set is intended for ages 6 and up. You can give this to young fans, and you kind of want to be excited when you open up the doors because you instantly recognize what it is. And for some of them, as an adult collector, I'm not immediately recognizing what it is. I'm not used to seeing some of these sort of iconic Star Wars elements being reduced down to really sort of simplified tiny brick form like this one. I'm not really sure what that one is. So let's get these bags in order and let's get building, because I want to see all of these pieces set up so I can see them all together. I'm hoping that we really feel the indoor theme that we get from the packaging. So let's get stuck in and have some Lego building fun. Of course, traditionally, Advent calendars are intended to be opened one door each day from December 1st in the lead up to Christmas Day. So I opened up all 24 doors all in one afternoon and built them all in one go. At a bit of a slower building pace, it took me just under an hour. So I was going a little bit slower than usual because this was my very first Lego Advent calendar. So this was my first experience following that one singular picture instruction on the inside of the door. And I have to say, for some of them, it wasn't too difficult to figure out what was going on and to sort of come up with an order in which to assemble the pieces. But for some of them, where there were multiple layers, that wasn't as clear because we didn't have a full expanded step-by-step instruction guide. So I had to kind of work a little bit slower, make sure I wasn't jamming Lego pieces together that weren't supposed to go together. Some of them were really cool and fun to build, and others were a little bit more fiddly. And of course, now that I've built everything, some of those ones where that preview image on the inside of the door had me stumped. Now that I've built everything, I can finally figure it all out. And I have to say, it was really helpful having some of the preview images on the exterior of the box. Really helped me figure out some of those instructions that I couldn't quite figure out from the inside of those images on the doors. So some of the ones that had me completely stumped due to the sort of cryptic nature of the instructions, I can now fully see that we have a speeder bike, we have a step for the battle droid, we have a shield generator, and I think the one that had me really stumped was the Ewok glider. I just hadn't put 2 and 2 together there. Of course, the Ewok minifigure was the one just after that door. They are intended to go together. And I thought it was really interesting that on some occasions there were pieces that fit together in the same door, in the same poly bag, and others were separate. So Palpatine and his throne was separate. the battle droid and Stap were separate, but Omega and her sled were within the same bag. I thought that was really interesting. And I like the fact that there are some really fun clusters in the theming here. We have quite a number of Clone Wars items. Of course, with the picture on the box being Endor themed, we have a lot of Return of the Jedi and Endor theming here with these sets that I think is really fun. We have two from the Bad Batch with the Justifier and Omega, and we even have one from the Mandalorian, of course, being very popular. We have the Mandalorian's N1 Starfighter. Now, of course, this is a Christmas themed set, being an advent calendar, and there was a lot of Christmas theming in the imagery on the outside of the box with lots of Christmas trees and the like. So I thought it was really interesting once I had built all 24 sets that there isn't actually as strong of a Christmas theme when you see everything all built together. There are a couple where you can just simply take a piece off and it completely removes the Christmas theming. The Princess Leia minifigure is holding a food item. If you simply take that out of her hand, she looks like a standard minifigure. And the Omega minifigure, she comes with a sled for sliding around on the snow. If you simply take her off, it loses the Christmas theming. There are 4 left that you cannot remove the Christmas theming unless you have appropriate swappable pieces from another set. We have the Christmas pit droid, the Gonk droid dressed as a reindeer. The Ewok has a sweater piece that is attached to the head. You can't swap that piece out. And of course you have Emperor Palpatine's sweater there. So if you do have some other pieces, you can kind of swap them in, create something unique for yourself. But there are only really 4 that have a Christmas theming that is not removable, and 4 out of 24, I think that's a really good balance. Some people like these sets because of just the number of small little vehicles and unique minifigures, and other people will really like the unique Christmas pieces that will not be found in other sets. So I think it's a really good balance. I thought the mix of scales was really fun. We've got some really tiny pieces. I love that tiny Star Destroyer. I think that that's really cute. And of course we have some vehicles that are almost full size, like the Stap works really well for the battle droid, and I think it's kind of fun that nothing's really fully to scale to itself. I did finally make sense of that clone command center. That was another one that was really cryptic from the instructions. I'm glad that one makes a lot more sense, and it does look quite cool. A little bit of scenery there, although being shrunk down in size. I think it works really well with that clone trooper minifigure. Hard to say what my favorite one was to build and which looks better. I do like the way that everything looks all together. I'm not sure if I'm going to display everything all together, but I did have a lot of fun. A really great way to spend an afternoon going through building a huge variety of pieces. This would be really fun to do as a family thing or with other friends, just to kind of build a bunch of little things. Everyone can take a poly bag and get stuck in building, and I did have a lot of fun. Perfect for the Christmas festive season. Let's quickly go over all 24 mini builds. Starting out, we have a minifigure of Omega from the Bad Batch, complete with little sled. Also from the Bad Batch, we have the Justifier. From Season 3 of The Mandalorian, we have the Mandalorian's N1 Starfighter. Very Christmassy, we have a red and white pit droid dressed up like Santa, complete with a sack of gifts. We have a small clone turbo tank. We have a 212th Clone Trooper minifigure, complete with blaster rifle. Matching that minifigure, we have a Clone Command Center. We have a Battle Droid minifigure. And we also have a Stap vehicle that the Battle Droid can ride. Looks really cool together. We have a Hailfire droid. We have a very small AAT in the Clone Wars blue and grey color scheme. We have a cute Gonk droid dressed up like a reindeer. One of my favorite builds was this tiny Imperial shuttle. The wings can articulate down into flight mode. We have a Princess Leia minifigure as she appears on Endor holding a small food item. We have a really cute miniature Ewok village. We have a very small little Endor bunker. I really like this walking version of the AT-ST. I like the pose. The stand really helps get that cute pose going. We have a small version of a speeder bike. And we also have the shield projector, as we see on Endor, with some tiny trees around the base. We have Emperor Palpatine with a mug, some Force lightning, and a very festive Christmas sweater featuring the second Death Star. And of course, Emperor Palpatine needs his throne from the second Death Star. Really cool. We have a very small Star Destroyer. This one was really quick and fun to build. This one had me puzzled, but it is an Ewok glider. And of course, if we have a glider, we need an Ewok pilot. Very festive with a green hood featuring a Christmas tree print. All up, 24 really fun little builds. I know I was cheating by opening up a full 24-day advent calendar in one go, but I really wanted to sort of break the ice, as it were, on Lego advent calendars, and now I know what to expect. I can't wait to open up this year's 2024 version. So, opening up everything all together, there were some sets that I thought worked better together. For example, when I was opening up the doors, I didn't immediately recognize this clone command center. It looks much more recognizable when you put a minifigure inside it. I think these two work better together. And I thought it was interesting that some sets were in separate parts, but then we had Omega and her sled together. Now, Omega, of course, is a short minifigure, but then so is an Ewok. And the Ewok and Ewok glider were in separate doors. I think there's a similar piece count here, so I think it was odd that this one was 2 days worth and this was only 1. I think this one is sort of a little bit more interesting, perhaps a little bit more Christmas themed, but I can take the minifigure off and it's just Omega by herself, which I think is really cute. I thought this one was an odd one to end on, especially this Ewok glider being number 23 and the Ewok being 24. I think the Ewok is festive and fun, but the glider was sort of a little bit of a lull, so close to the end of the advent calendar. I thought that the cadence of sort of the releases would kind of go up and up and up. Of course, you've got Christmas as day 25, but personally for me, I think Emperor Palpatine would have been a more interesting one. If you had done his throne, you kind of would have known that he would be the figure after it, and they're so recognizable. Opening up the throne, you instantly know what it is. It was a little bit confusing, the Ewok glider. I didn't immediately figure it out. So if you are wondering, Palpatine does have multiple expressions, as many modern minifigures do. If I take him off his throne, we can see his expression there under his hood. We have a second one there on the back, so you can choose which one you like better. I kind of put him in his angry face. Something funny about him shooting Force lightning while mad and drinking hot cocoa at the same time. I love his Christmas sweater there featuring the second Death Star. Really fun. Another one that worked really well together was, of course, the Battle Droid and Stamp, but they do work quite well by themselves. On the box, we can see the stamp, but we don't see the little piece of land here to help support it. We've got a clear brick, so it gives it that hovering effect. I really like this one. The scale of the stamp is almost true to scale. It would work really well amongst standard Lego sets, so a really fun addition if you've got Clone Wars or perhaps prequel era sets. This one would just work right alongside it there. Now, I do have a few other sort of thoughts about some of the other items. Now, Leia, she's kind of Christmassy. She's kind of holding a little food item, but you take that one off and she's a standard minifigure. Now, she does also have a second expression hidden under her hair there. I like her smiling one. And Omega also has a second expression there under her hair there. I like her smiling one for her as well. I thought it was interesting that just looking over everything, nothing really felt too Christmassy. We have 2 Christmas sweaters and 2 droids dressed up very Christmassy. Of course, we have the sort of Santa Claus pit droid and a reindeer gonk. I thought those ones were really fun, but really, those were the only ones where I can't remove the Christmas theming. So I thought that was a good balance. Perhaps not every Lego Star Wars fan enjoys the sort of the gimmicks, but there are still some really cool pieces in amongst the rest of it. One of my favorite vehicles was the Imperial Shuttle. I thought this one was a really clever build, really great detail, and of course we can move the wings to put it into its sort of iconic flight mode there, and it works really well for Endor. Of course, we see one landing on Endor. I really liked the Endor scenery. I thought that kind of took me by surprise. I love the vehicles and the minifigures, of course, but the scenery, that clever Ewok village, we have the little Endor bunker and the shield projector, those scenes just looked really cool when you cluster them together. Really fun there. I love the Clone Wars vehicles. This tiny AAT, I have a properly scaled Lego Clone Wars sort of blue and grey AAT. This is so tiny. I kind of want to put it beside it just to have these sort of two together. This is just so cute. I love it. And the Mandalorian's N1 Starfighter. I love the fact that it's got a clear dome, like we can imagine a tiny Grogu inside. I thought that one worked really well in this tiny scale. Of course, the tiniest one is this tiny Star Destroyer. This one made me chuckle while I was building it. It's got to be the smallest sort of scaled down version of an immense Star Wars vehicle that I've ever seen, but it's still so recognizable. Really clever there. Now, one of the ones that had me a little bit confused from the preview image on the door was the speeder bike. I immediately didn't recognize it. I thought maybe it was a turret or something like that with the sort of laser cannons or something on the front, but yeah, a little bit small. It's kind of almost in scale, but not quite, but it does work with the indoor theme. The Justifier was an interesting choice. Obviously, Bad Batch is a semi-recent animated series, but I think that that one's perhaps not as recognizable, but I know that they would want to kind of mix really popular designs with some lesser known ones so they can sort of carry on every year without repeating designs too often. I like the Christmas theming. I think it's really fun. I like the Clone Wars nods. The tiny clone turbo tank was just, that was so much fun to build. You could immediately recognize it. It was really fun. So I learned a lot going through. I like the fact that they were all individual bags with the doors. I wasn't sure how the instructions were going to work. Took me a moment on some of them. They were a little bit harder to decipher, but together with that singular picture instruction behind the flap and the pictures on the outside of the box, I built everything. And again, really fun way to spend the afternoon. I'm really happy with my collection of tiny little Lego Star Wars builds, and I can't wait to make this an annual tradition now that I've started. I don't want to stop. This was so much fun. I'm looking forward to adding these to my ever-growing Lego Star Wars collection, and I'm really excited to see what the 2024 Advent calendar has in store. A good number of minifigures with some varying sort of Christmas theming there, so it's not just a repeat of something you already own. Of course, battle droids and clone troopers, you can always army build them. Thought it was interesting that Omega is just sort of a standard figure alongside Leia, but I like the mix of characters there. I really love the Bad Batch, so I liked the touch of having two elements from the Bad Batch in this set, not just sort of original trilogy. Fun Clone Wars elements in there. The Hailfire droid, that was a really fun choice, instantly recognizable as well. And of course, another one that had a little bit of scenery that wasn't visible on the box was the AT-ST. It was just kind of posed on the front of the box without this base plate, but I think the walking position really gives it a little bit more of an AT-ST shape, and of course it's not going to balance on one foot, so we've got a handy little piece of base there so it stands up really well. Overall, love this set. I did get it on sale, so perhaps I don't know whether I would say that this is value for money at its full retail cost, but that kind of depends on how much of the festive spirit you enjoy. If you're just looking for a couple of unique pieces, you might want to grab it on sale, but overall I had so much fun. I love my little Lego builds here. I can't wait to do this again very soon with the 2024 Advent calendar. So this was such a fun way for this Star Wars fan to spend an afternoon. I know it's a little bit early for Christmas, but it's really got me in the festive mood. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today as I opened up some Lego Star Wars sets and had a lot of fun building them this afternoon. I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are in the galaxy, and let's hang out again very soon for more Star Wars fun. May the Force be with you. If you're a Lego Star Wars fan, I've also opened up and built the TIE Interceptor poly bag. That video is linked here in case you haven't already seen it, as well as a whole Lego Star Wars playlist. This is the way.